just made up some little RHS blocks to space up the transfer so I can just do one mount at a time. Okay, so I've got all the mounts tacked in to sit the transfer case about 50mm higher than it was. Now there's nothing below the level of the chassis. Just gives me a little bit more clearance and less stuff to get hung up on. I'm going to cut all the rear suspension and the old tray mounts and stuff off now and get ready for the coils to go in. So I didn't do a lot of filming, kind of forgot, but got the mounts in for the radius arms, all the coils are in, some pretty basic brackets just wrapped around the body mount. Got to cut the old upper shock mount off and move it, remake it, mount the shocks, make a mount for the panhard rod. So a little bit left to do, but the big stuff's out of the way. Also started making up the bash plate. So I'm just going to make some mounts. I'll just come off here into those holes from the old sliders that used to be on the car. They're already crushed tubed through the chassis, so. Fast forward a week, got axle sitting in it, a spare diff center. Got to pull the rear diff out and shave it, finish welding it all up and put a brace on it. The belly plate's all done, mounted, and I've had to remake the passenger side engine mount for room for a third link to pop up next to the oil filter. It's going to be a bit of a challenge between it and the exhaust, but I think I should be able to make it work. Going back to a belt drive power steer, just to try and get some room in the engine bay for an airbox. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of room between the motor and the winch. Yeah, just setting it up now to work out the 3-link. Try and have somewhat of a decent suspension set up in the front of it. I'm trying to do a little bit more filming on it. So it's been a little bit over a month now since the last time I did any filming. New tyres have showed up. They're a, I don't know if you can see it, 35 by 10 15 Maxxis Roxilla in sticky compound. Got some coil Sierra seats, they're just a little bit nicer than the ones I had. My Heim joints all showed up. I've just got them stuck in a piece of PVC so I can start mocking up the front end now. Just got the cab sitting on it so I can get all the weights right to do the panhard rods. just about to get a start on making the brackets for the front 3-link. And that just shows how much the wheelbase has been extended since I first built the car a little over 12 months ago now. Also got a coil Sierra front clip and bonnet to hopefully fit on the car. Might work, might not. It'll be something different if I can get it there. Transfer case poking through the floor pan. I still need to trim all that up and get it all nice. The jack shaft almost touches the floor pan in here. You can really see it. Had to bend the transfer stick that hits the gear selector surround in 4 low. So a little bit of work to do. So I'll hopefully be able to film most of it. Been turn on playing around with the 3-link calculator. I think it's from Crawlpedia from memory online. Trying to work out all the numbers. This video on YouTube by Reckless Wrench Garage, I've been watching it pretty religiously. I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to all this sort of stuff, so it's been a pretty helpful video. If I can work it out, I'll link it in the description for anyone else wanting to try and do this same sort of stuff. All a bit of a learning curve. I'm not a professional. I do have a XJ Cherokee radiator to do a remount and a trans cooler as well. So plenty of parts to get the build going again. It's just been waiting for months. The parts flow is starting to come back, so hopefully it'll move pretty quickly from here on in. So I've just spent a few hours playing around, sitting links in places, seeing if they'll fit. Been punching numbers into the calculator, trying to work out what will work, what won't. I think I've come up with something that'll work with the car, with numbers that are, you know, pretty reasonable. It's got a 84% anti-dive number, so from what I've heard, that's about on the money for what I want from the car. Hopefully it'll go together. I'll get into making some brackets. So got some brackets made up for these front lower links. Did some for both sides. Sit in there like so. I have to measure it all and make sure it's in the right spot before I go tacking it on, but that's where I'm up to at the moment. So once I get that one done, I can start making the bracket for the upper link to pop in here. Hopefully save the floor pan, but if it has to go, it has to go. So I've got all the link mounts tacked in now. I've still got to tidy up all the edges and cut them down to size. I've just cycled the suspension just to make sure there's no binding. And it's all looking pretty good, so haven't completely stuffed it up for the first time doing it, which is always a bonus. As it sits, I've ended up with 87.8% anti-dive, so close-ish to 100, which is where I wanted it. So now I've just got to get some springs in it, get it under its own weight. I've got a full float rear axle set up in the mail at the moment. Hopefully it'll be here in the next week or two. Then I can get stuck into the rear end, get it finished off and strip it all back down to a chassis, get it painted, and then actually try and get this motor running. That'll be it for this little video. We'll try and get some more stuff together over the next couple of weeks. Aiming to do a video a month. It's been a little bit slow at the moment, waiting on parts and going through a job change and all that sort of stuff, but we're getting there. Thanks for watching.